So either one should be able to.
Well, they want to.
All right, ready when you are, Kevin.
Okay.
It's one of those marriage at first sight. Yeah, Russell. Put it in the box. There's a lot of folks over there. A lot of chairs over there that are missing people. There's a lot more.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Am I on? I'm a little late. Shabbat shalom. Hello, cousin. Okay. Shabbat shalom. Good to see everybody. We're going to begin with Shalom Aleichem, but not sort of the slow one, but one that has a little bit more of a rhythm to it. And by the way, Matt, I'm going to bring you up to let the dance. Okay? Absolutely. The words for Shalom Aleichem, if you don't know them, are on the supplement. And we begin. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashalem, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lai Lai Lai, Lochem L'Shalom, Malachim Shalom, Malachim Elyon, Mimelech Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Malachim Shalom, Malachim Shalom, Malachim Elyon, try that. Shalom Aleichem, Malachim Shalom, Malachim Elyon, Mimelech Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lai Lai Lai, Malachim Shalom, Malachim Shalom, Malachim Elyon, Mimelech Malachim We'll get that the next time.
Almost there.
It's time to breathe. Time to let go of whatever source we've been holding on to. Whatever source that we created or someone else created, it's always better to blame someone else for the source.
No.
I know. It is. It may not be nice, but it always feels better. But in truth, we have to let go of it ourselves. You've heard me speak before about this question that we find right in the beginning of Genesis. Ayeka. Oh, okay, that's much better, right? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Right. Is it too loud or is it fine? It's a little loud.
Too loud?
A little bit better? Too light now? That's good? Better? Okay, good. Huh? There's a banana in my ear. question is ayeka. The question that God asks of Adam and Eve after they've eaten from the fruit. God asks them, ayeka, where are you? Now, God knows all in the Torah, so God's clearly not asking a geographical question, rather a metaphysical one, a situational one, how they are feeling, where they are, what's on their mind, what's in their hearts. And I think we can begin Shabbat with that question. Ayeka, where are you? They, Adam and Eve, hid behind a tree. Well, what trees do we hide behind? And what can we let go of in order to embrace Shabbat? We're going to continue with Shir HaMa'alot, which opens with just the words Shabbat Shalom. The rest of the words are on the page, but all you need at the moment right now is Shabbat Shalom. Please join me. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Again, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Same words, it's a different rhythm. Shabbat Shalom. At Mevorach. Shabbat Shalom. Mevorach. From the top. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. On this side, that part. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat. Keep it going. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat. Keep on going that side. Shabbat Shalom, Mevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Mevorach. That's up. Shir HaMa'alot, B'Shuvat Adonai. Ready for that? All you have is Shabbat Shalom. What's it? Start again. Shir HaMa'alot, B'Shuvat Adonai. And Shivat Zion, Hayinu Kecholim. Everyone, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Everybody, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. One more time for everybody. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Raise your voices. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We'll work on that. Richard's gonna lead his part. Nat, will you come up to light the candles? We continue on page 3.
In the light of these Shabbat candles bring strength and brightness and healing and peace to our Shabbat and to our weekend.
L'chadodi, page 4. L'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ומפני שבת קלה. l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ומפני שבת קלה, l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ומפני שבת קלה. l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ומפני שבת קלה. שבוע זכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל אחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת קלה. l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת קלה. Shabbat, לכו ולכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, בראש מקדם נצוחה, סוף המעשה במחשבה תחילה, l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת קלה. l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת קלה. Shalom, Ateribala, Dam Simcha Utzola, Tochnei Amasela, Moichala, Moichala, la 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 la, Tikradi Makala, Bnei Shabbat Kamela, l'chadodi, Tikradi Makala. I think we need one more chorus because I don't think so. The Baruch Hu, remember, the Baruch Hu is saying, "I'm ready," and I don't think that. I think about half of you is here. The other half is still on 610 or 59, or at home, or dealing with some source that you were dealing with, or like some appointment, or some, I don't know, some client, Leslie, who's really making you crazy, I don't know, or some company that has, whatever it is, right? Some electrical lines, Patsy, that are just not flowing, or they're flowing like they should, I don't know, but right, like, to say nothing for what's going on at the Alzheimer's Association, and, there were other people there, are you there? Sometimes people are there, sometimes they're not, right? So this is the service that we're coming from, right? So, but we gotta shed that service, and we gotta let go of it for the sake of ourselves, for the sake of Shabbat, for the sake of this experience. So let's try to get there. Yeah, stretch a little bit, crack whatever you need to crack, just get comfortable. All right. Everybody, l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת קלה. l'chadodi, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת קלה. l'chadodi, lose the steam. Just write it, page 6. I did a baby naming last weekend in Montgomery, Texas. And I was talking with someone there who was Jewish, who mentioned that just recently he learned why it is that the ancient Christians called God Yahweh. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this, but if you look at, well, it's not actually on here, but if you look at the Torah, when God's name is written Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. And the Vav, in the way it can be pronounced in Germanic languages or Yiddish language, it can be V, but it also can be pronounced W. So they looked at the name Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. The Yud makes a Y sound, the Hey in this case makes no sound. The Vav makes a W sound in this case, and the Hey makes no sound. So that's where they get Yahweh. It's also where they get Jehovah. Because the Yud can have a J sound, it's complicated. But the point is that we Jews, from the very beginning of our existence as Jews, insisted that the one word you cannot say aloud, the one word that you cannot read, not because we can't say it because God forbid it's going to, curse us or something, but we will not say the word, we will not spell it out. Because to say God's name, to believe we know God's name, is to believe we know God. And so we stay away from that. So that Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey becomes sometimes Yud, Yud. It sometimes becomes just a Hey that stands for Hashem, which literally means the name. But the idea is God's name in the Torah is a placeholder. Not because God doesn't have a name. I don't know what God's name is. But what? We're not supposed to mention it, but not because out of superstition, but because we That's the idea. We cannot know God in a way that gives a sense of a complete knowing. So inside of the Hevavhe, you have 3 verbs actually, which I'll have to teach more broadly at another time. But you have the word in Hebrew, Yihye, which means will be, Haya, which means was, and Hoveh, which means is, or present tense. So it would seem to suggest, well, that's probably a clue as to what God's essence is, right? Eternity. But when we sing the Shema, we recognize ourselves as part of that, of a unity that we can't know, but we know we are from, that we are connected to. So together we sing Shema, and then we will chant Be'ahavta. Page 9 and 10. Or no, 9 and 10. Page 10. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרת מאוד על ידיך, והיו תעבוד בין עיניך, וכתבתם על זאת ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. It's time for simchas. Time to share your simchas, time to share your good newses. Anybody have any good newses to share? Linda, I had a feeling.
First, is happy to be back here for the
So
first
happy to
time
have you.
in a very long time. And my good news is a mixed blessing. I was in Massachusetts for the last year because I couldn't get back because of COVID and driving. And when I returned in December, I learned my house flooded. And so I've been staying in a hotel. I'm back in the house, but I sold my house and I'm going to be moving to the Berkshires to be closer to my grandkids. I'll miss everybody. And my granddaughter Delilah will be the buttons for this year.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Models, for those of you who are watching at home, Linda's back. And she's still in her house, sold her house, and she's moving back. I'm moving back to the groceries. Anyone else? Something want to share? Yes, Sandy.
Yes, well, I was connected with Marjorie Marks, who lives in Round Top, family. And, I just wanted to see how she did, because I know the storm went through there for powerful. And they're okay, and she is rounding up in Round Top, a Havurah group. She's getting to meet people on her work, and that's typical of her. I told her she's been missed.
Yes, she has been. Yes, Jody.
Yes, I found out that my daughter is going to be visiting this year. She's been living in Prague for a couple of years now, so it's not like I get to see her every year, so I'm very excited.
Oh, that's terrific. Good for you. Yes, Shoshi.
I'm going to Israel.
Great when?
For how many seconds?
A whole month.
Okay.
Excellent. Wonderful. Travel safely. There.
On Sunday, the Run for the Rose race is happening. And I'm doing a fundraiser, and I'm also running in the race, and I'm a survivor, so it's an honor and a privilege. I just want to see if you want to sponsor me on my team, or just root for me, that I get a medal. And I'm strong enough to get a medal.
You are definitely strong enough to get a medal. Oh, yes! Tempest.
It's my brother's birthday.
It's your brother's birthday? Which one? Desmond?
Yeah, I turned 11.
I can 5 that
So Desmond, you turned 11 or you will turn 11?
He turned 11 today.
Today? Today's actually your birthday? Well, stand up! Yeah, sorry. Stand on the chair! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Desmond. Happy birthday, dear Desmond. Happy birthday to you. Yom Let Sameach. Yom Let Sameach. Yom Let Sameach. Yom Let Sameach. Do you know what it means you're 11 now? You're 2 years away from your bar mitzvah.
Don't scare out there.
I want to tell everybody that I spoke to Don Bent today. He's been home for more than a week. He was in the hospital, but he's great. He's doing very, very well. And he sent his love to everybody and misses us. I called him and said, Don, I'm on my way to the Murphy. I had to give you a call. He said, oh, Rabbi. So I said, Shabbat Shalom. And he said, I love you like a Jamaican man, Shabbat Shalom. All right, let's sing Micha Mocha. Page 13. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai. Micha Mocha negam kodesh. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai. Micha Mocha negam kodesh. Now let's say, y'all are Nora. Oh, that makes sense. You're Nora, right? You're Tehilot. And then you're Osei, and you're Fela, okay? And Debbie, I better hear a big Nora from here.
No problem.
Nora, Tehilot, Osei, Fela. Come on, you better than that. Nora, Tehilot, Osei, Fela. Adonai, Yimloch le'olam Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai. Micha Mocha On the supplement, you'll find the words to Lador Vador. Lador Vador, most of you know, I believe, Lador Vador means from generation to generation. I invite you to sing with me. We are gifts, and we are blessings, we are history in song. We are hope, and we are healing, we are learning to be strong. We are words, and we are stories, we are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. The door by door, not the goblet up. The door by door, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, the door by door, these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carry in our hearts, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that could part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of the way, and the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. The door by door, not the gauntlet up. The door by door, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, the door by door, these lips will praise your name. The door by door, not the gauntlet up. The door by door, we protect this chain. From generation to generation, the door by door, these lips will praise your name. We continue on page 15. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufiaki. Ufiaki Tehillatech. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufiaki. Ufiaki Tehillatech. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufiaki. Ufiaki Tehillatech. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah El Elyon Gula Libnei Bneihem L'man Shemo Yahweh Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaya Kol Atah Rav Le'Oshia Mechagel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye Yaakov Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berofech Olim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Geburot Umidom Elach Melech Bemi Umechaye Umatziach Yeshua B'nei Chayot Hako Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye Hako Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kedoshim B'Kol Yomenu Chasera Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. As we prepare for Mishaberach, I want to offer this reading and then invite you to mention names of people you love. God, Holy One of blessing, I come before you with many feelings. I have accomplished much and yet wanted more. My acts have given love to others. My words have given encouragement and comfort. Yet there are actions I wish I had taken, words I wish I had spoken. Some I wish I could take back. There are accomplishments I want to achieve and still will. I apologize for hurts I have caused. I have forgiven others. Sometimes my feelings are clear and sometimes they are not. I pray that whatever the stirrings of my heart, that they bring me closer each day to my true self, to my loved ones and to you. Created by you, I seek to live ever more fully in your image. I seek peace for myself and my loved ones. May my life continue to be filled with warmth and wholeness, comfort and healing. These words, I think, channel our prayers for ourselves and for others. That we and they find wholeness, comfort. And particularly lately, I'm thinking about satisfaction, satiety, feeling enough. Being able to be satisfied with what we have in any particular moment. I ask you if you would like to mention names of people whom you are thinking of when you're healing. I invite you to rise where you are seated. When I invite you to mention their names, please do so, and then we'll be seated once again.
Alcina Brooks, Sheila Milch, and
Mary Selig, Evelyn Roth, Chuck Raw, Jenny Levenbach, Gary Wolf, Mark Wiener, Elaine Gottlieb, Mary Ann and Larry Greenfield, David M. Lois Simon.
continue on page 20. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Well, thank you everybody for being here, for joining us here at the Murfish. Next week, we will be back at First UU for Shabbat. I want to say a big thanks to everybody who came out for Purim, especially to Richard and Tiffany, who made Purim happen for all of us. It was really a blast. I want to say a big thank you as well to Jerry, to Natalie, to Rabbi Sheingoff, and to Dee Dochin, NJP, Richard, and Joan. Right, and Joan came out, yes, exactly. So it was great. It was great fun. It was so much fun. Thank you, everybody. And I hope that you saw that we were able to send a check for $4,300 to the Friends of Beit Polska, the liberal Polish organization that's doing tremendous work in supporting refugees there. So it was a great evening, great effort. Hopefully you've seen that Passover, where the CSK Seder, for the first time since 2019, will be together in person. It'll be Friday night, April 15th at 6:30, and it'll take place at the Southside Place Clubhouse. You gotta sign up. We actually do have a real number that we cannot go over. This time it's smaller than in years past. It's weird. It's weird that you have so much trouble booking, a church on Friday night of Easter weekend. It's very strange. I don't know why. I don't know. But anyway, so that's why we're not going to be at St. Mark's or other church. I think that covers everything for now. Oh, May 1st, put on your calendars, please. May 1st from 4 to 6 is going to be our annual meeting. And that'll be actually in the JCC, in the bottom floor of JCC, in the building, in the room on the right. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's... What's it called? Oh, it's called the Kila. Oh, the Kila room. Anyway. And thank you, Tiffany, for putting on this lovely oneg for all of us. It was very delicious. Brought to you by Tiffany and Costco. So I imagine that most of you have heard of or know about the newspaper, the Jewish newspaper, which is called The Forward. Yes, maybe mostly, yes, it's a Jewish newspaper that still runs to this day. When it first was founded, it was called The Forwards, which means forward. But it was a newspaper that was primarily serving the Eastern European Jewish immigration that had come to the United States. And by the 1920s, the Forwards, published in the United States, was had the largest Yiddish circulation in the world. There were more people in the United States reading the Yiddish newspaper than there were in Eastern Europe at the time. And it's a newspaper that's been with us for a long time. It actually served a really important role in a section of it which has been discontinued for the most part today. It was called the Bintel Brief. The Bintel Brief was where you would advertise if you came over without your spouse, or without your sibling, or without your parent, and you could advertise in the Bintel Brief saying, my name is so-and-so, I'm from this town, I'm looking for this person. And it happened oftentimes with spouses that were separated. And there's incredible stories you could read about. You just Google Bintel Brief and spouses reunions. And it's really remarkable. Now, there also were some really incredible stories about spouses that found that their spouses were no longer their spouses, or they were somebody else's spouse by the time they got to the new world. That's a whole other thing. But anyway, just want to make sure everybody knew what the forward is. Because you'll need to know in order to appreciate this joke. In the late 1930s, a Jew is traveling on the subway reading a Yiddish newspaper, the Forwards. Suddenly, to his shock, he spots a friend of his sitting just opposite him, reading the local New York Nazi newspaper. He glares at his friend in anger. How can you read that Nazi rag? Unabashed, his friend looks up at him. So what are you reading? The Forward? And what do you read there? In America, there is depression going on, and the Jews are assimilating. In Palestine, the Arabs are rioting and killing Jews. In Germany, they've taken away all of our rights. You sit there and read all about it and get more and more depressed. I, however, read the Nazi newspaper. We own all the banks. We control all the governments. We, my friend, not only control our own destiny, but that of the world. It's okay to laugh. You didn't get it? Okay, this is really important. I had this exact conversation with 3 young teenagers yesterday. You gotta know in order to be able to understand the joke. So the joke is that the Nazi rag, the Nazi newspaper, acts as if the Jews actually control the world. Right? That's the accusation against us. Whereas the Forward tells the truth. We're really in trouble, we're being beaten up, we're being right. But I'd rather read the Nazi newspaper, which said, the Jews, we got so much power. Right? We control the world. Hull we have a tenth of the power, right? That the anti-Semites say that we have. Right? Now we get it? Yeah. All right, so laugh. Thank you. Okay. Did not play like I thought it was going to. But okay. Now, I have to tell you, in Birmingham, Alabama, years ago, there's a comedian, a Jewish comedian, his name is Joel Chasnoff. And he's actually coming to Houston in May, I think, this year. And he was super young then. I mean, he's probably, I don't know, he's probably in his 40s now. This is probably 12, 13 years ago. And Cantor Jessica Roskin was the cantor with me, and she had brought him in. And we're sitting there in this room with very 7 Jews from Alabama, whose parents and grandparents did a very good job at trying to make sure they assimilated as much as possible. So Joel Chasnoff is telling jokes, Borscht Belt humor. Nobody's getting it. Cantor Roskin and I are just busting up, right? And we're looking around. So, on to another really funny story. That is about Nadav and Avihu. Nadav and Avihu were Aaron's sons, who in this Torah portion decide they're going to go freestyle. They're going to improvise their sacrificial offerings. Well, this doesn't go very well. Nadav and Avihu say that they take their fire pans and they offered avodah zarah, strange fire. Apparently, it would seem, God wasn't happy with this, or God was way too happy with this, and they both got zapped. Done, complete. They were killed instantly. Now, this is a strange text. And the rabbis tended to be pretty critical of them. They assumed of them that it was an egotistical thing, that they, because it says they each took their own fire pan, meaning they were competing with each other, or they were trying to do something different, that's why they got zapped. Or they say that they entered the sanctuary drunk. They entered it drunk, which is why right after this section, there is an admonition where Moses tells Aaron and the priests not to enter the sanctuary intoxicated. That's why that's what they put that together. They were just overwhelmed. They were young upstarts, they say, and they just wanted to get rid of Aaron and the other elders so that they could be in charge. And these are some of the interpretations that the rabbis offered. Now, there were some in the minority who suggested no, it was about extreme piety. They wished so dearly to be close to God that they did something that brought them far too close to the fire, so to speak. Remember, when Moses says to God, I want to see your face, right? What does God tell Moses? You cannot see my face and live, right? And so the rabbis suggest this is why they died. There's even a Talmudic piece that suggests that their souls were so consumed that their bodies were intact, that they actually left there just completely uninspired. They were never moved soulfully. They were dead inside. Now, the text says that immediately in response, Moses' answer is, this is what the Lord meant when he said, through those near to me, I show myself holy and gain glory before all the people. This is what Moses said. I'll read it to you again. So Moses' brother's kids are zapped, dead, right there. This is what Moses says. This is what the Lord meant when he said, through those near to me, I show myself holy and gain glory before all the people. To suggest that there was some biblical rationale for this, right? Somehow this was a fulfillment of some prophecy. Somehow this made sense. But here's what Aaron did. The text says, in response to Moses' answer, the text says, Vayidom Aharon. And Aaron was silent. And we don't hear from Aaron for another, I think it's 2 or 3 Torah portions, until the Torah portion called Acharei Mot, after the death. So Aaron's not just silent in that moment, but he's silent for a chunk, for us, the Jewish people, for weeks. We don't hear from him. And this really struck me today because of this. This is a recording of Afghan girls since the Taliban took over. I'm just gonna play 3 minutes. Oh, is it on?
To show them that we are not afraid of you. We just want to study. It was around 5 or 5:30 p.m. I went in front of the door of university. The Taliban showed me that where you want to go. Hello, girl, where do you want to go? I told them that this time is my class time. I have to go and join this class. They told me that now is not your time. You don't have to come in this time because you're a girl. I said, why you feel like this? I have this right to come and learn and study my studies. They said, you have to go now, and they showed me their guns. Okay, then I really was afraid, and I left there. So after that, I left my university.
Can you tell me why you went back? Did you go back just to see if your class was still there?
Yes, but when I saw my classmates, boys, it was really painful to see that boys, your classmates all can go to join the class, but because you are a girl, you don't have the permission to go and join the class. It was really painful for me. I lost everything, every hopes, every dreams that I had. I lost my all hopes. And when I come to home, all day I cried for 1 week or 2 weeks.
I'm sorry.
I'm really sorry. I feel really emotional.
Yeah, it's
It was really hard.
yeah.
I know it is really hard to someone tell you don't have to study, you don't have to work, you should be in home and work daily homeworks, and you don't need to have dreams for your future, you just have to get married, you have to give birth, child, and these things, it's really hard. The dreams that we had, not only me, all the girls in Afghanistan, the dreams that we all had, all is now all is like a dream, not real.
Hmm.
At the beginning of our service, we sang Shir Hamala from Psalm 126 that hearkened to the ancient Israelites' memories that once we were slaves and now we are free, that once we were exiled and now we are back in the land of Zion. And the words were a song of ascents. When God restored the exiles to Zion, it seemed like a dream. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with joyful song. So I was hearing this interview, and I heard this girl talk about how their dreams were like dreams. And I've been personally struggling with the notion of how incredibly lucky I am, we are, to have had the ridiculous fortune of having been born into the lives into which we've been born. At this time, in this place. Because the chances are much better that we would have been born into another life. I mean, if you think about our souls as spiritual beings that find their way into the world. And this interaction between Moses and Aaron, where Moses says, oh, your sons died because this is a fulfillment of God's prophecy. Not one of Moses' best moments, I don't think. The importance of being able to practice the philosophy of, in our own lives, of it could be worse. It's not necessarily the most inspiring approach to life, but it is a crucial piece. To be able to say it could be worse helps us realize how blessed we are, and it also reminds us of our responsibility to those who do need our help. And maybe, if we don't have anything to say or any wisdom to offer at any particular moment in the face of loss, in the face of our own personal struggles, maybe Aaron sets the tone for us well. To be silent, and to listen, and to pay more attention to just how much more difficult life could be. Doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for better. But I think it's a key element to finding happiness. It's heartbreaking to listen to these girls who are so in love with learning. All they want to do is learn. I mean, you listen to them and you think, I hear our own children you know, people complain about teachers, complain about schools, complain about books, and all these girls want to do is learn. And the Taliban knows what it's doing. It's cutting them off from it. It's not just the Taliban, it's forces everywhere that are afraid that people with learning will develop power, knowledge. So, I bring this to you, yes, to depress us a little, but also to inspire us and remind us when we get frustrated or angry or upset, it could be worse. It could be so much worse. We can allow that to be an inspiration to how we live and how we seek to help others. Shabbat Shalom. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tegula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu giluyei haratzot, velo samanu k'nishmechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahen, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו lost their lives, those who are lost to us, but who are memories within us, blessings for our lives. I invite you to stand where you are seated so that I can invite you to mention those names, and once you've mentioned those names, please remain standing.
Elaine Valerie Cahan,
Linda Fleischer, Herb Fines, and Evelyn Bell.
Billy Mills, Al Bernberg, and Elaine Bernberg.
Member of our CSK family, David McEwing, Ginger Hill, Howard J. Howard, Linda Fleischer, and my mother, Marion Dom, who passed 2.5 years.
Madeline Albright.
We all rise with you. Together we offer Kaddish. Page 26. Yitkadal Yitagash Shemei Rama. Ba'alma Divrach Chirutei V'yamich Malchutei. B'chol V'yomechol V'chayei V'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'balach B'zman Kari V'yimru Amen. Yesh Shmei Rabban V'rach L'olam U'mei U'mayam. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipar V'yulam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Yusha B'richel. Leila V'yibirchata V'shirata. Tushbechata V'nechemata. Ta'amiram V'yamam V'yimru Amen. Yesh Lam Rabba Min Shmai. V'chayim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Romam. U'yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places be peace upon us, upon all Israel and the world, and let us say Amen. We're going to do our Kiddush and Motzi in the foyer, but first we're going to sing together Oseh Shalom, which can be found in the last line at the bottom of the page 26. Oseh Shalom B'Romah. Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kadosh v'tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 Kiddush and Motzi. And let's hear it for Kelly Dean.